Travelers from India or Africa to El Salvador must pay over $1,000.
If you're an Indian citizen, don't travel to El Salvador. I just tried to check in for my Avianca flight to El Salvador, and it turns out they charge a fee of $1,300 to Indian citizens just for transiting through the country.
This is no joke, guys. The news is completely real, and many people from India and Africa are extremely outraged. In fact, for example, here we have articles that tell us about it. El Salvador imposes a 1,130 fee on travelers from Africa and India. The government of El Salvador has started imposing a 1,130 fee on travelers from dozens of countries who make connections through the country's main airport. Guys, this is crazy. In fact, this other girl, who I think is African or from India, I don't know, is also really outraged. Let's listen to her.
El Salvador is imposing a $1,000 fee on Africans and Indians. They said that anyone traveling with an African passport to their airport and Indian passport holders have to pay $1,000 from now on because, wait, they want to renovate and fix up the airport for, the people who are going to travel through their airport. No joke.
Look, obviously, it's an excuse, a ridiculous excuse. Obviously, because we all know the real reason why Nayib Bukele is imposing this. And basically, it's because he doesn't want these people to enter El Salvador. It's that simple. It's like a kind of filter. He charges them $1,000 if they want to enter. And well, if they have the money, it means they're people with a lot of resources. They are people with high purchasing power who surely won't stay in the country. That's what Nayib Bukele is trying to prevent with these fees.
Let me show you something. Let me show you exactly what they said. Let me show you. Do you see it right here? The Port Authority of El Salvador has stipulated that travelers with passports from India or any of the more than 50 African nations must pay these fees, and the funds collected will go toward improving the main Indian airport, Port Authority of Salvador. Stipulated.
Obviously, I understand that people from India and Africa would say, I don't care about the airport in El Salvador because I'm not even Salvadoran, so why do I have to pay for that airport? Well, I'll say it again, it's just an excuse. I'm being honest with you, I'm being transparent. Could I tell you? No, it's that Nayib Bukele wants the airport to be repaired. No, he doesn't care about that. He wants to screen these people to see if they're good or bad. Obviously, that's your opinion. I have my own opinion, and I'll share it with you later. But anyway, let's listen to her.
So basically, they want Africans and Indians to pay for their airport, and it's just ridiculous. At this point, we're so tired of being treated differently, and I hope that anyone who plans or thinks about using their airport thinks twice about it, because they are directly supporting injustice and discrimination.
Well, interestingly, the comments on these videos are like, oh, Bukele is great. Seriously, do people really comment things like that? Now I even feel more like going to El Salvador. Incredible. I mean, those are the comments from many people.
I understand. In some parts of the world, maybe you need to make a stopover there. This $1,000 fee also applies to stopovers.
Wow, that's crazy, huh? Crazy?
As long as you get to the airport, you'll pay?
Okay, basically, if you have to make a stopover at El Salvador airport and you're African or from India, you'll have to pay no matter what. Even if you're only stopping over at El Salvador's airport before flying elsewhere, not visiting the country. Incredible, huh?
Oh my God, and I almost forgot to make matters worse, you arrive. Salvador Airport. $1,000, which is just a special fee for Africans, or having to make a mandatory stopover at Salvador Airport. And African or Indian India?
Well, that's something all countries do. However, to give her some credit in her favor, I think that if El Salvador doesn't allow you to enter the country, even if you have the $1,000, I think El Salvador shouldn't charge you. I hope they don't do it. If they don't let you enter the country, El Salvador shouldn't charge you that money.
So they could send you back. Is that not a joke? That's also in this article. So family, I'm just letting you know, if you plan to use this airport, El Salvador, be careful. You might have to pay $1,000 and you could be sent back to your home country without even reaching the place you were going to visit.
I'm telling you, I understand how these people feel, both from Africa and India, who are probably thinking, oh my god, how is it possible that they're going to charge me all this money? However, at the same time, I can understand why Nayib Bukele is doing it. And the thing is, many of those people go to other countries and just stay there, they don't come back. And El Salvador is gradually becoming a desirable country for many. But anyway, let's keep listening to this man.
I think it's because of all the illegal immigration that has been happening through El Salvador from India. But still, $1,300 for regular travelers is crazy.
Of course, I understand, but I repeat, it's a filter. That's why Nayib Bukele is doing it. And let's see people's comments. Here they tell us, breaking news. El Salvador is charging people from India and Africa an airport improvement fee, quote unquote, of $1,300 before entering. This person from India is telling others not to come. A shout out to Nayib Bukele, but a shout of joy. That's what they mean. In fact, people here look, they're commenting, Bukele is incredible. No, he's amazing, guys. This is the best president on the planet. I hope Trump and the next president we have work 100 times harder and do the same as Nayib Bukele has done. Do you realize that? It's really powerful. I mean, people are applauding this. Now, there's something very curious, and it's that this news is from the year 2023. Look, it's just November 13th, 2023. Tremendous. In fact, we can also see it here. It was reported on November 13th, 2023. But probably this news hadn't blown up so much until now. And right now, many people from all over the world are talking about this. Here, they're telling us. Since the end of October, citizens from 57 countries, mostly African and from India, have had to pay the fee, according to the Civil Aviation Authority. Aviation officials did not say whether the measure was aimed at reducing migration and pointed out that it is an airport improvement fee. Please, obviously they're trying to reduce migration, but this is just an excuse so people don't call them racist or say they're discriminating, blah blah blah. But the government of El Salvador acknowledged an increase in travelers from those countries this year. Okay, obviously the government of El Salvador sees it. Countries that used to be very good, countries that used to be very safe, that were known for making progress, and now they're stuck, they're super unsafe, and they don't even seem like Europe anymore. So, it's obvious that in El Salvador they noticed it and said, you know what? Let's prevent it before it even starts. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. See you next time.